gone on, yeah, they'd be automatically promoted.
Do you know, that's a really good one was, the last one I remember was, what was that? I don't know what's going on there. Okay. Where the fuck has it moved? Sorry, no. Yeah, the last one I remember was Derby. No team was like overturned a 1-0 away lead in a playoff semi-final ever. And then Derby came and did what they did. Great.
Good old Derby. Right.
I'll move it back. It's a bit zoomed in, I think.
No, yeah, we need to get the stadium in, don't we? Lovely. Top Championship stadium.
Blades fans, subscribe to Blades Ramble. Up the Blades.
What is happening, Blades? And welcome back to the Blades Ramble. We are here. Where are we, Con?
Elland Road.
Elland Road. We are the home of Leeds United, set up by Conor himself, because he thought it was going to be a very good weekend for him. And I thought what we'd do today, just to sort of get things moving a little bit, pal, would be to go through some tweets and some comments on our videos, a little bit about what people are thinking, because we get some weird and wonderful ones. We're going to anonymise them, so don't worry, nobody's going to be pointed at and laughed at or anything like that. But
we're just laughing at you all behind the seat.
Not top. Well, yeah, some, yeah. So these have been taken from both the Ramble videos and the One Leeds fan channel in our recent videos since this weekend's results. So it's letting us know what you guys think, really, and we have selected a fair few. So the first comment that I saw was, I still think Leeds, Burnley, Autos and Coventry win the playoffs. Any thoughts on that, Con?
I agree.
Such a lie. You're such a lie.
No, yeah. I still think Leeds, Burnley, Autos, Country in the playoffs.
So this is from I believe this is a Burnley fan.
I think he is a Burnley fan.
Yeah. Either that or a Coventry fan.
Yeah, that is, I mean, that would be an ultimate fall from grace for you lot, wouldn't it? Binning out the playoffs as well.
I know.
That is, yeah. No, I personally don't feel that at the minute. I don't think so. I think if anyone positively for us, I just feel it now that it'd be the playoffs for us, and maybe it'll be different this time. It's interesting with Farke, he was going on about us 100% going up, but then my dad said this morning as well that he had kind of specified that it was almost like there wasn't the route. He sort of mentioned the route afterwards. It was a little bit like, oh, what could
he didn't say it automatically?
No, he didn't. So
yeah, okay.
Yeah. But it would be interesting if you fell out completely.
Well, that's obviously a nightmare scenario for us. So let's move on.
Great for us.
Yeah, great for you. Next one. And this is an interesting one. I couldn't understand Farke's interview after the game. You would have thought that they'd won a tough game the way he was going on. I think Conor's correct in panicking. So, for context, Farke after the game, like Conor's just touched on briefly, said I'm 100% confident we will go up this season. We will be promoted this season. He didn't say automatically. He veered against saying anything around what context they were going to go up.
Yeah.
Does that put too much pressure on Leeds United? Yeah, I've thought about Sheffield United, Burnley as well, trying to embrace the running and enjoy the running. He's now just said, we're definitely going up.
He wouldn't have said out, would he? Up there, the great one.
There's a Bielsa picture over there.
Don't say anything disparaging. Your bird. I'm just saying.
I'm not. No. I'm glad he's no longer your manager. Yeah, that's what I'll say.
Well, yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, that comment's interesting. I do have to say, saying you're 100% sure, what it does do for you and what it does do for Burnley is it's your team talk. And it's probably Chris Wilder with a beer at the end of the season talking about it if you do get promoted. So it's
the story's right itself at this point.
Yeah, it is. And that'll probably, in all fairness, it'd probably knock Wilder off. Maybe he's learned a little bit this time to remember in the game. Last time out, he seemed a little bit more.
He gets rattled very easy.
He's
learned to keep a lid. That's exactly where we're going with it. So
Even after it, when he's had a beard on,
Danny Rowe.
singing about it.
Danny Rowe had a little pop about Sheffield United and about Wilder and money that we've spent and stuff like that. He did like a 20-minute monologue on Radio Sheffield afterwards about people come on and talk about our season. Well, focus on your own season because we've ended their season today.
Yeah.
He banks it all. He remembers everything.
And when he's at a cup.
When he's at a theatre,
When he's at a bud.
But look, it's not done. We are not being cocky or arrogant at a minute. There's a long way for us to go. Yeah. But even if we both go up, or particularly if you finish second behind us, if we get any advantage over you at all, final whistle at the end of the season, he will be mentioning this.
He will.
Absolutely right. And it's every motivation we need. So I understand what Farke's doing in trying to get his team to believe. I think that's got to be the stretch that you give him in terms of how he's trying to show confidence in his team. But I think it's naive at best, to be honest.
I would agree.
Next one says Burnley have lost twice all season and are currently 26 games unbeaten. We're creating loads of chances now with the addition of Edwards. Underestimate us at your peril. I'd push back on this slightly.
I don't think anyone's underestimated you.
I don't either. I don't think anybody's I think that's certainly, obviously, that's the trickiest game that we've got.
Yep.
They have not gone away all season. All season. We've been in the top two for the majority, and Burnley have been, along with Sunderland, we're getting around it.
I guess we've probably spoken about Leeds' chef going up a lot more.
But that's our channels.
but I guess if I don't know, maybe a little bit of credit goes to that comment, because even earlier on it was very much. I mean, it's what we believed essentially. It's not what I believe anymore, but it's what we believed. It was Leeds, it was Sheffield United, and by a point of 5 games ago, we were on 75, you were on 70, they were on 68. Yeah, we had a better goal difference. It's 8 points, so you can kind of see why we ran with it really. But no one's underestimating you, Burnley at all. They're a nightmare. They're an absolute nightmare.
They are, and they're just a little bit like what Sheffield United were being not accused of, but sort of tainted with, was they're just doing enough. And Burnley, particularly against Bristol City, were a case, worldie watching. Yeah, I watched it until Burnley scored, and then I thought Bristol City are going to get back onto this. Then I heard something else were going off at Ellen Road, so I switched over.
Yeah.
So I'd stopped watching at that point.
Wish I could switch off. Literally.
I switched over to the Leeds game, and I switched on one Leeds bench off. So
like, comment, subscribe. Don't worry, they already do. Yeah, for all the best meltdowns.
So yeah, fair play if you think, and apologies if you think we're underestimating Burnley, because we're certainly not. As two quite not nervous fans, but very self-aware fans, I think, or I can certainly speak for myself on that. Burnley are a huge threat to both of us, and there'd be no surprises here if Burnley were one of the two that made it into the autos. Next comment was, it's so hard to believe how well this team has gelled when you consider it felt like 2 weeks before the start of the season and we signed no one. Really speaks volumes for the manager. But when you talk about the cheerleaders in the team, I think that also helps massively with the camaraderie. Trying not to get too excited, but this could truly be a great season. Clearly that's talking about Sheffield United.
Camaraderie is a great word, isn't it?
It is a great word. And it's
French. Almost. Sorry, I'm just zoned out of football, to be honest. What a great word, camaraderie is.
Yeah, do you know what that means here, Elland Road?
No, we don't.
How's the camaraderie between the defence and the goalkeeper? And
fractured, to put it nicely.
It's a nightmare. And I think, obviously, this is a huge thing that Wilder's focused on in his recruitment. And I think it just gets accepted that he's brought in some good players. So, yeah, we're top at league because he's brought in good players. To gel a team together so quickly, so efficiently, to get the results that we have done is incredible in itself. But he made a huge point of signing the right characters. They had to pass, not a personality test per se, but he wanted to get the right people in. So he's used his contacts in the game and he's asked about these players, done his full research before getting them in. So these players haven't been purely selected on what they can do on the pitch. They've been selected on how they will fit into the dressing room and how they will get on with each other. And that now, I feel you talk about the intangibles, I feel like this is a huge part of why we are able to get that extra 5% out of us when we need it at times. And that might be also a reason why we've been able to manage games when it's been so tight. People have talked about the 1-goal wins that we've had and victories by the 1-goal margin. Trusting your teammates, getting on with your teammates, liking them, trusting them.
Yeah. I think the big one for you from an outsider's perspective has been City Pep. I think just the energy he's brought, I know it sounds daft and it's intangible, isn't it? You can't measure it, but the passion he's brought with obviously the quality he's got as well.
Yeah.
There's a conversation right now that, our Blaster wouldn't get back in over someone like City Pesh. And I think the impact he's made is probably, and I'm not saying you don't praise him and the Sheffield United fans don't praise him, but it's definitely been under the radar and understated, because I think without him, I do wonder.
I agree with this, by the way.
Yeah, I do wonder, because I think there has been some underperformers this season. Maybe when you look at the likes of Raksaki, you've already mentioned Callum O'Hare, in terms of consistency over the period. Vinicius obviously been brilliant, but he's been injured in periods as well. Hamer the same. I think Sidney Peck has been a constant, really, since our Blaster's been out, or he's at least, sort of a month afterwards, he's really started to hit his stride. I think without him, we're having maybe a completely different conversation. I genuinely believe that. I think he's been that good.
Yeah, I agree. In terms of availability, and he's a robust player. He does intensity. He's very rarely does it. I mean, I'm not going to say it out loud, but he's been available consistently for us.
So he don't drop anything below really a 7 out of 10 for you, does it?
Well, he's had the odd game, but you expect that from a young player as well. Inconsistencies at times, but he has been flogged. He's been playing most games. He has been sort of rested, few and far between, really. We talked a little bit previously about Farke not rotating. Sidney Peck's been the one we haven't been able to rotate as much as possible.
Yeah.
Tom Davies hasn't always been available through injury. Jamie Shackleton, injured a lot of the season and obviously isn't really up to the level that you need for a top end of the Championship promotion fight. Vinny Souza, brilliant player, but not always available. So Sidney Peck's been that constant. Hamza Chowdhury really helps. Strengthening in January has been really good for us, but this comment is bang on in terms of trying not to get too excited, because there are still 21 points to play for, and we're only technically, due to goal difference, 1 point in front. So there's still a long way to go, lots of twists and turns. We could be third come our next kick-off. So that's how tight it is. But it could truly be a great season for Sheffield United. Fantastic performance from the Blades. One minor moan from me is Tom Cannon. He's got to be the lowest in the pecking order in terms of strikers. We can't keep putting him on because he has a large price tag. He was the worst player on the pitch when he came on against Coventry.
A few blocked efforts, didn't he?
A few blocked efforts, and I think it's getting to the stage with Tom Cannon where he's starting to not look desperate, but he's looking very keen for a goal.
Campbell's been so good.
Yes, and the pressure on Tom Cannon maybe is starting to show a little bit.
Chip Cannon coming in's improved Campbell's game.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. You cannot measure these things, but Tyrese Campbell, who came in as a free transfer, is currently keeping a £10 million striker out of the team. What does that do for your confidence? Yeah, I'm picking you over him.
Yep.
Ryan Brewster's been picked over Callum O'Hare, who has been very good this season at the moment. So this is being wilder, really, in terms of boosting the players' morale, letting them know that they're all part of this journey together. So Tom Cannon will be a good player for us. I'm confident he will. I think the £10 million price tag does him no favours at all, because he's immediately being judged on that. He hasn't played a full 90 minutes for us yet. I don't think he's played 4 full games in terms of time on the pitch.
I'm not so sure he will be.
You're not sure he'll be a good player for us?
I think Campbell, if you were to get to the Premier League, I think he's got a lot of attributes.
Yeah, I agree.
That can acclimatise to the Premier League. Cannon
scored 10 goals this season in Championship.
4 in 1 game. But yeah, you are right. I think, I don't know, there's something amiss with him. When I watch him, I just don't. I think when I want to watch Campbell, I think the movement, how dangerous he is, how shot efficient he is as well. I think his football brain is very good. And you notice that obviously with seeing Campbell, because he's not been available, has he? Let's be honest. He's in his career, it's been stop, start. So actually him having availability, it's been interesting to watch him.
Yeah,
to be honest with you. Cannon, I'm just not, because now you're looking at him from your perspective. Look, if he's in the Championship, you're probably looking at him and thinking, yeah, he's a good Championship striker if he's given a full season. You've kind of got to be looking at the Premier League now. If you are to, I agree with a future projection, he'll have been brought in as a Premier League player as well. That'll have been the projection, 10 million quid.
I think he's been brought in to get us over the line, and then he still retains value. Yeah, and I still think he can see that value through. It's way too early to, and it's interesting that as a neutral or an outsider, if you like, you've got that perspective on him, because that's where some Blades are looking at him. But I think it's way too early. I mean, would he get in the Leeds squad? But would you be happy seeing him come on for Joe Peru at 70 minutes
Rather now, would you?
rather than Matteo Joseph. But
Well, yeah. There's an argument, right, that Joseph's not. It's
is what I mean, sir.
context there, isn't there? But
in terms of, you know, at this level where we need him to be, he's still a sought-after striker who's proven it at the level. So just because he's not done it yet in a Blade shirt doesn't mean he's a write-off for me, and that's my opinion.
I bet if you went up, you'd get another striker and send him out on loan.
I think that's a possibility, strong possibility. And maybe that's good for him. Maybe Leeds take him on loan for a season.
No comment.
There we go. Okay,
We're 100% going up.
you are 100% going up. That's true, actually. I said Daniel Farke.
Don't forget that.
With Blaster being injured most of the season, has City surpassed him now in terms of what he's done on the pitch so far on current ability? Something that Conor's already touched on. Obviously, both of their ceilings are huge and would likely be bigger than United can get to. I would love to see them play together next season. On a side note, Chowdhury has done well, especially in his last 2 games. But where does he fit in the squad when all our central midfielders are fit? Really good question. I think Arblaster and Peck are quite similar players. I think Arblaster's maybe a little bit more rounded, and City's got strengths in specific areas more than Ollie. But they have 2 very good players, 2 big pals as well, come through the youth system together. Vinny Souza starts in every team we've got when he's fit, and I think Chowdhury is an ideal backup to Vinny Souza as an alternative, as a ball-winning midfielder. But again, it leans back to Conor's point. We dominated Coventry on Friday night. Siddy Peck and Hamza Chowdhury, it's arguable, are our 3rd and 4th choice midfield pairing. Leeds have been lauded for their squad depth this season, and rightly so, because they have had a very strong squad. But they've got Tanaka, Rothwell, Gruev, and Ampadu. I wouldn't change our 4 for your 4. And I think there's probably an honest discussion that you could have as to whether your 4 are as formidable as you thought they were.
I think I don't know if it's about formidable. I think there's a real quality comparison now.
Yeah.
I think like with the likes of Siddy Peck, who I'm the fan of, Arblaster, I didn't see that much of, to be honest. You know,
Fantastic player.
yeah,
But not enough of a not on the veteran to grade him on, I suppose.
yeah, because
For an outsider, anyway.
when Arblaster kept well and Road, he obviously had that shot, didn't he, that went wide. That could have been very different, but I didn't really notice him that much.
Yeah.
But when Siddy Peck played at Bramall Lane against us, I thought he was really, really influential. I know there's context in terms of Wilder and what he did at Ellen Road as opposed to what he did at Bramall Lane, but yeah, I think it's closer than probably a lot of us think.
Wow. Well, what a climb down this is.
It's not, because I think when you look at Gruev, I've always been quite consistent with like Gruev.
Yes, you have, yeah.
And I think when you look at Peck in comparison to Gruev, I'd rather have Peck than Gruev.
You would.
I would, just straight up.
I think Drew
You know what I mean? So,
bottom of the 8, to be honest.
yeah, probably. Probably. Yeah, he's very system heavy, but I wouldn't. You know, if we're Jets in Premier League, I personally wouldn't have Chowdhury in the Premier League. You might think differently. I wouldn't have Chowdhury in the Premier League. I wouldn't have Gruev in the Premier League. Who else is in there?
You'd have Peck, not necessarily as a starting Premier League player, but you back him to grow into something. Yeah, well, nobody had him down as the Championship player this season, and he's just grown throughout the season.
How old is he?
21.
Yeah. How old is Arblaster?
21.
21. Right.
Around that sort of age. So, yeah, it's decent.
Close to everything. Yeah.
Is this the renaissance of Ryan Brewster? Says the next comment. I can't quite believe he's scored in consecutive matches. He barely used to score in consecutive seasons. I'm chuffed to ribbons for the lad. Long may it continue. I think we're all happy for Brewster as a lad, and I think whoever's come on previous, and I suppose it's a little bit like Leeds fans. If you're going to compare the 2 clubs,
Probably Aronson.
their love-hate relationship with players like Aronson, and like some players don't rate Matteo Joseph or Joel Peru as a 9 and things like that. But Brewster has split opinion in terms of his talent, but everybody is absolutely delighted for him in terms of the journey he's been through with injury. It's like if Pat Bamford came on and scored the goals that fired you to automatic promotion now in the last 6 games of the season, you'd all be absolutely delighted for him, because he's had such injury problems, could never stay fit, never really done it consistently for you for such a long time anyway. Ryan Brewster, for us, he's been a cheerleader of all the other players, and you know, a lot of the negative rhetoric was, well, it's an expensive cheerleader to have that into sat on bench and never available for us. But as he turned a corner, as Chris Wilder finally found the ingredient that can make Ryan Brewster a player for us, and there's a big talk now of, does he deserve another contract? And I think again, you have to have that difficult conversation of would you want him in the Premier League, because that's obviously where we're hoping to get to.
So if this is the conversation now, and it with players like Brewster, with players like Peck, obviously, Cannon, it's that step up, isn't it? He says Championship. Don't get me wrong. I always think Ryan Brewster at Championship level, but I don't watch him week in, week out. But Ryan Brewster at Championship level, I always thought was a really good part of the squad. That's what I mean. And it's not like your depth has ever been bad at Championship level. Sheffield United, it's not.
He's no longer got this reluctance anymore to run or to react to something. It looked like he was managing himself in games at times, or he was fearful to sprint or something. It looks like he's been managed back to fitness. He's now getting confidence. He's getting in the right positions.
I'd rather have Brewster than Harrison.
Would you?
Yeah.
In the 10? He's been playing in the 10 for us, and that's where he's sort of developed.
Okay, well, yeah, definitely.
Okay. Last comment, and this is one aimed... Oh, no, last comment to the Sheffield United channel. So this one's aimed at me. This is...
At last.
Cooper makes a mistake. But imagine, Jimmy, if that would have been Robbo. Thinking I'd have gone in hard on Jordy.
So, well, come on, you have got an agenda.
I think...
Never like Scousers, have you?
No. What? Whoa! Shout out to all the Scousers on the Leeds Ramble channel. Right, so Michael Cooper, I love, and I'm just going to answer this one pretty quickly because I think I don't want to do it to death, but everybody knows I love Michael Cooper. I called him out on 90 after 90 saying, turns out he is human after all, and he dropped one. He did a Melier, if you like, against Coventry at the weekend.
Did he?
Consolation, but he didn't. In the end, it turns out, I'd got it wrong. I hadn't seen the replay at the time, so I dashed home. He's got arms all over him, pulling him down, and that's why he drops the ball. He sits on the floor and says to the ref, what's going on? I think if there'd have been anything in that goal, we said it on 90 after 90 last night, it gets disallowed because it were a consolation. Refs let it go. Should never have been allowed. But you're right, I would have been all over Robinson as well. I just wouldn't have been as surprised as I was that Robinson dropped one.
And we're back.
And we're back. Next comment.
It's the last one. We're about to raise more confidence.
It's the last one. This one, I think, must have been on One Leeds fan channel. Melier's nervousness is infectious, and the rest of the defence are catching it. Just about everyone seems to see this, but Farke. Leeds are destined for playoff heartache again, and it has nothing to do with the international break. It's Farke's stubbornness. Any comments on that to send us home, Conor?
I do think it's the whole curse thing. It is a little bit nonsensical, to be honest, when you do think about it. Yes, there's pressure at Leeds. Yes, it's happened one or two times. But this whole thing of it almost being wrapped up in the DNA, I do think it's a bit daft. I think a lot of it...
How can it be?
Exactly, it's daft. I think a lot of people will say, maybe the recruitment's not been good enough. A lot of people will point at January, and then a lot of people will say, look, it's stubbornness. Look, I mean, Sunderland, when he... It's comical, isn't it? The one that you're laying. I got off a flight from Hamburg. My girlfriend had taken me away for my birthday, and I saw it. And Sunderland were top at the time. And I looked at it and I thought, not ideal. They've scored in the 96th minute, but you know what?
You saw the result, you mean?
So, 2-2, and I'm like, it could have been a lot worse. I thought we might lose that game. Sunderland were flying. And then you get back and you see what he's done, and then I'm like, wow, here we go again, But then I also think, he's going to be dropped the next game. Definitely dropped. Carries on playing him. So he's made a bond for his own back. And you talk about Wilder. Wilder would drop him. I think Scott Parker would drop him.
Maybe not after one, but if you're consistent.
What about 40? Would you drop him after that? That Mabel. They're at 40. But
he's done it. He's taken players out of the firing line.
Yeah.
Sometimes he's being cruel to be kind, isn't it?
So I agree with that. I think it's a good comment. I think it is stubbornness. I think there's decisions that are not being made right now. It's hurting Leeds ultimately.
Love it. Thank you for finishing us off on that, mate.
No.
So let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you agree with some of these comments that have been made? This is what we want. We want your feedback on the channel. Conor encourages it on his channel as well. Just because we don't necessarily agree doesn't mean you're wrong or you're not right to have your own say. So thank you to everybody that comments, likes, and subscribes to the channel. But for now, come on, you red and white wizards. Up the way!